free mind. You crazy for this. Soulful. It's like our responsibility to make us feel something. You know, to make people feel. Make people feel what we feeling. Hey, yo.
Reggie here, and I want to welcome you to another one of my live streams. This is the Ready, Set, Go preview show, a show that we do on Sunday night to get the week started off right. And as part of that, we talk about news, we talk about current events, but I also give you a preview of some of the content that is going to be coming out from the channel over the course of the week ahead. A couple of people made a comment about me digging in the 100K collection. Kevin, I see you, sir. I see you, and you may or may not be correct. No, man, I spent a lot of time digging in the 100K collection this weekend. Friday and Saturday, I spent some time digging. Found some really cool books that I cannot wait to show you guys in a future video. I also got frisky. I got frisky. I made some changes to the back wall back there. So you guys may realize and recognize that the wall does not look the same as it did a little while ago. But to be completely honest and transparent, the main reason that I'm late is because I was about to put up a thumbnail and realized that the thumbnail was slightly inaccurate. So I had to recreate it from the scratch in order to actually share the thumbnail. We are going to talk about a loss. We're going to talk about a loss that Marvel has suffered, along with a bunch of other stuff that I have planned to chat with you guys about. But I want to get things started off first. Thank you, Tina. Thank you, Tina. Tina says, great wall of Reggie. I don't think that that's what she meant, but that's how one could read that. That's how one could read it. A lot of Spider-Man going on back there. Who is that? That ASM 22080 says there's a couple of things. We're going to look at the wall. We're going to talk about the wall in a hot second. I'll give you guys a rundown of what's back there. It's mostly random stuff that I found in a bin next to me. So no rhyme or reason other than the fact that it is ASM. Let me give you guys a preview of some of the content that is coming out from the channel over the course of this week. Then we'll talk about the wall. I got a couple of cool things. I got frisky recently and decided to partner up with somebody to do a little bit of an analysis to evaluate whether there was indeed a value gap between CGC and CBCS. If you guys know, I've been talking about this off and on the channel and live streams and stuff like that over a whatever period of time. Pick a period of time, a year, 2 years. And what I had heard recently was that the value gap that once existed between the two had narrowed. And some have been recently calling into question whether it has indeed narrowed. So we decided to take a look at it. And I'm going to be dropping a video this week that's actually going to talk about whether that value gap exists or not, and to whose favor, if there is a gap, it leans towards. So we're going to talk about that in a video today. This week. Sorry about that. In addition, I have a video that I recorded maybe 2 weeks ago, in which I highlight 10 helpful resources that I think collectors should know about. And I think it's a decent video. So that's going to be coming out this week. And probably a month and a half ago, I recorded a video. I found a full haul of a run. I'm sorry. I found a full run in the 100K collection, and I sat down, I started reading it, I enjoyed it, I ended up filming a video after I found it, and then the video has been edited and sitting for weeks upon weeks because there was always something else that needed to go up before it. I think I'm finally going to release this video this week. Fingers crossed that we can get there. There are a couple of other videos that I need to film, but I feel like I need to get this full run video out there before 3 months passes, because it's honestly been a while. The wall will look completely different when you guys see this video. So those are some of the pre-recorded videos that are going to be coming out this week. In addition, on Wednesday, we're going to do Comics Today, which is a live show that we do at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to celebrate the best day of the week, that being New Comic Book Day. So we're going to do that. We have a guest lined up that is going to come on and spend some time talking with me about some things that we spoke about previously previously. If I can make that magic happen, if not that guest, at least another guest will come on and talk about some interesting stuff. So we will see what kind of magic can be made between now and like Tuesday night, right? So that's coming up. And then in addition to the pre-recorded videos, the live stream that I just mentioned, we're also going to be releasing a podcast on Monday at 10 a.m. Shout out to my brother Rizal for making that magic happen. All right. So let me give you guys no Spider-Man wall should be without 300, says Michael Baker. Well, the challenge is that you cannot leave that book up there all the time. And if you had watched the videos that have been released recently, I think you would have seen that I have a triple sign 9.6 from CGC that is up there. You cannot leave all the books on the wall all the time. So I disagree that a wall can't be complete without ASM 300, because trust me when I tell you there are a lot of other books out there that are way more important potentially than ASM 300, which proliferates the CGC census. So just my thoughts there. But let me give you guys a rundown of some of the things that are on the wall behind me. Pardon that horrible glare that is currently on ASM 55, the dope Doc Ock face cover back there. But top row, we have ASM 17, the second Green Goblin. Next to that, we have ASM 51, the second Kingpin. Last wall, you saw the first appearance of Kingpin, that being ASM 50. That was double signed, so we decided to go with 51 this time. 55, the Doc Ock face cover. Why? Because it is a dope face cover. It's just a cool book. I bought that book a couple of years ago, and I like Doc Ock, so we wanted to put that one up there. Next to that one is ASM 64, the origin and first appearance of Cloak and Dagger. Next to that, ASM 90, which is the death, quotes, death of Captain Stacy. And I think on the last wall we had Gwen Stacy's death, so we decided to give a nod to her dad. Next to that one, we have ASM 239, the first Hobgoblin. Next to that, on the very end, hidden behind the Ready, Set, Go banner, we have ASM 361 and 9.6, the first appearance of Carnage, a book that has been talked about a lot. If you've ever watched the top 10 CGC submission video, that book has been on the countdown for most of the year, most of the last year. It has been up there. On the bottom row, starting over there by the Burger Time, we have ASM 529, the first, I think it's like the Iron Spider, definitely a new costume, but I think it's oftentimes referred to as the Iron Spider, so that's up there. We have a really cool ASM 607, which I think has a cameo appearance on the very last page of Craven the Hunter's daughter. That is a 9.6. We have a definitely 9.6 theme going on there for a little bit. Next to that one, we have ASM 650, which is the first stealth suit. Definitely a cool suit. One of the cooler Spider-Man suits outside of his regular one. We got that up there. Next to that, hidden behind my face, is ASM 798, the first Norman as the Red Goblin. If you guys remember that Red Goblin thing became pretty hot there for a little while. I want to say at the end of 2019 or something like that. So that's the first Norman Osborn as the Red Goblin. Next to that is another variant. If I can go the right way, there you go. Another variant of 798. Next to that, 799 with the Red Goblin right there on the cover. And then last but not least, we have ASM Annual issue number 16, the first Monica Rambeau as Captain Marvel. So definitely a really cool book. I think I sent in like 4 or 5 copies of that into the CGC, and the highest grade that came back was a 9.6. And I think there were a couple 9.6s and some 9.4s. But I was hoping for a 9.8, but such was not my lot with that submission. So a cool wall back there. That's what's going on. All right, man, bring him on, man. Bring him back. Let's do this with the Red Goblin. He was hot, man. Red Goblin was hot for a minute. I went out there and picked up just about every one of those Red Goblin covers. The sketch cover variant. I was a big fan of the Red Goblin. I mean, again, you knew that they were going to revert back, but it was still it was a fun read. I definitely appreciated it. There you go. And that's what it is, man. That's what it is. You know, you cannot have, you know, expensive books on the wall all the time, right? I think part of the reason why I have a wall, to be honest, is because it gives a little bit of diversity when people are watching the channel. But the wall also gives me an opportunity to celebrate books that are in my collection that, you know, may not be the focus of a video, right? They may not be somebody's major grail or major key, but they're cool books. And as you guys know, I am a fan of Spider-Man. I have the entire full run of ASM from issue 1 all the way up to the present day, and they're all really, really great books. So there you go. That's up there. ASM is up in here. There you go. That's what's up. This video is dedicated to you. This video is for you. Missed opportunity with the Red Goblin. I mean, here's the thing, man. Isn't the grandson? Isn't it Baby Normie? Isn't Baby Normie? He has a little bit of the Goblin in him. Let's see some of that action. I thought we were going to see Brock at one point. I think it was no, it was Eddie's son. Is that Brock or Dylan? Dylan. Thought it was going to be Dylan and Normie squaring off, you know, and that never quite happened. But that's what I was hoping for at one point. So scrolling through the comments, I think I'm all caught up on that one. I need a bigger wall, brother. Woo, brother, I'm gonna tell you right now, the wife and I built that wall that is behind me. I think that wall is about 8 feet. It's about 8 feet by, I think, about 6 feet or so. That was a challenge. It was a challenge to build it and then carry it up the stairs. Man, that one almost broke me, brother. That one almost broke me. And then trying to configure it for this room and realizing the spot that I originally had, you know, the original orientation for the room didn't work out. So I had to pivot. I had to literally pivot the plan and the wall, and that wall is there. When this thing leaves, I may just have to like just chainsaw it in half, because, or hire people, because that wall going down the staircase that is here is not no. I felt like the Friends episode, pivot. It was brutal. Almost lost it. All right. So Normie Osborne, he does, brother. He does. And I'm going to tell you, Matt Wood, stay tuned, brother. Stay tuned. We're going to get your opinion on something. So I was on the Instagram the other day, and there was Todd McFarlane. Todd McFarlane showed up in my feed, and I want to say that Todd McFarlane says something like, "Hey, Todd McFarlane here." And it was kind of like, Todd, we all know who you are. You can just start to talk. Just as soon as the camera gets pointed at you, Todd McFarlane, just talk. You don't have to introduce yourself, sir. We all know who Todd McFarlane is. But Todd jumped up on the Instagram. And he made an announcement. And it was a cool announcement. Thank you, brother Brandon. I definitely appreciate that. And so I wanted to share with you guys this announcement in case you had not seen Todd McFarlane on the Instagram. He has revealed a new toy line. So McFarlane Toys launches the DC Page Punchers action figure line. So Todd McFarlane is known for his toys. This guy is making magic happen, yes, with comics, but certainly with toys. He has made a tremendous splash. And I wonder how much his relationship, honestly, with Jim Lee has aided him in being able to do what he has done with the DC Comics characters. Is you just think about his relationship, how far back that goes. You wonder if that relationship has played a part in his ability to do stuff like this. But with that said, DC Page Punchers action figure line is coming out from McFarlane Toys, and you can see here are a couple of the toys that are out there. It's basically I think it's a 3-inch figure that is paired with a reprint of a comic for like $9.99. And I've basically just given you everything. We're still going to read it. McFarlane Toys DC Direct have officially launched the Page Punchers action figure lineup, which offers 3-inch figures and a full-size comic in a clamshell blister packaging. The first wave includes Hush Batman, Rebirth Superman, Flashpoint The Flash, and Endless Winter Black Adam, priced at $9.99 each. You can actually get these things on the Amazon, and I was on Amazon a short while ago. I believe that they're coming out in July, but if you pre-order right now, you can actually lock in your price of $9.99 per figure. It also guarantees that I guess you're going to get it as well. So it says here, breakdown of each figure can be found below if you ask us. It's a fun concept at a fairly reasonable price point. Now pay attention. It says this would be great for gifts and for kids. That is not well written, but basically you're saying it's a great gift and or a great thing for kids. And they say that they can see collectors getting into them as well. Yes, you might just want to say collectors are probably going to buy a healthy number of these things for lots of different reasons. But again, they say it's for kids. They say it's for kids. This is an important point that I want to make here. So let's read this. It says, as a child, Bruce Wayne watches as his parents are brutally killed in Gotham City's crime alley. Traumatized by their deaths, he devotes his life to becoming the world's greatest weapon against crime, the Batman. Okay, this is for kids. Bruce Wayne witnesses the brutal killing of his parents in the alley. He is now traumatized and becomes a vigilante. Next story, the rebirth Superman, sent to Earth from the dying planet of Krypton as a baby. So we have we have a child that becomes an orphan, and now an exploding planet. Number 3, let's see if it gets any better. In a freak lab accident, he's doused with chemicals. It doesn't get any better. And then you've got a villain, right? Black Adam. We don't even need to read that. Basically, a kid gets superpowers and his uncle steals them. Like it. As I read this line for kids and then I read each one of the blurbs, I was like, maybe this isn't great for children. And in fact, when you go to Amazon to place your order, it actually says for children ages 14 and up, which basically means young adults almost at 14. I just got a kick out of that. But again, a cool thing coming out from DC and McFarlane Toys, $9.99 on the Amazon. There you go. All right, so we covered off on that one. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was tempted. I was tempted to press the button and get all 4 of these things, but I held my water. And I did not place an order, but I have a feeling that a couple of you guys... It's probably a poorly timed launch there going with the Flash figure. McFarlane, probably not the greatest move. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, you watched the live stream that I released last week, which we spoke about Ezra Miller getting arrested yet again in Hawaii for disorderly conduct. He has been accused of spitting on someone that was attempting to play darts while filming himself getting assaulted for a NFT crypto art. It's a very sad story. It's a very sad story. If you guys haven't watched the video, we literally see Ezra Miller on camera talking to the police. It is quite interesting. I completely agree with that. I completely agree with the sentiment of being almost 50 and still being a child, because I count myself in your company, my friend. Let's just say that. Let me see. I'm scrolling through some of the comments here. Chair. Oh, that. Ooh, Kevin. Kevin says chair sold separately for the Flash action figure. If you, previously, Ezra Miller had a run-in for throwing a plastic chair that left, I want to say, a 1-inch gash in a woman's forehead, just out of control. I've always wondered, Todd doing toys for DC, isn't that a conflict with his brand? Oh, absolutely not. Todd is about the money. Todd is about the money, and Todd is about doing cool things. He is about challenging himself. He's about doing things that are different. And he makes all of his Spawn toys. He does all of that. And I think he has a great line of Spawn toys. And then he's doing them for images or for DC as well. So I don't think that it's a conflict of interest. Todd is making some magic happen, man. He really is. He is impressive. There is no doubt about that. What he has been able to do is quite impressive. So we all have we all have cousins, uncles, brothers, sisters. I think we all have a family member or two that has been known to get a little crazy. You know what I'm saying? Scrolling through some of the comments. Thank you, brother. I definitely appreciate that. Wanda steals the show. Lizzie deserves Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actress. I've heard so many mixed reviews about the Doctor Strange movie. I've had so many mixed reviews. A lot of people say that it's incredible. Other people say not so much. We have people saying that it feels disconnected and disjointed from maybe some of the other movies that preceded it. You have some of the more controversial comments about the role that certain characters are playing in the movie, and they don't necessarily care for that. So it's been a mixed bag, man. It's been a mixed bag of people's opinions. And, again, it's like, it's really tough, I think, to make a movie that appeals to everyone, that everyone is pleased with. So I don't know how you do it. So scrolling through some of the comments here, scrolling through, what is that? Tori is making a comment here about some action figures from maybe G.I. Joe. Again, Todd has done some really, really cool stuff, so it would not surprise me if some point. I actually watched Snake Eyes. I watched Snake Eyes this weekend. I had a little time, and that was a movie that a lot of people didn't like. A lot of people didn't like that, and I guess I could see why. It was a little slow. It was a little bit of character development, but I enjoyed it. I honestly enjoyed it. A lot of people did not enjoy that movie in any way, shape, or form. But again, it takes a little bit of everyone. So I enjoyed Doctor Strange 2. I even dodged spoilers and trailers so I can enjoy the movie even more. There you go. BCL. There you go. That's what's up. That's what you have to do. I saw a post the other day. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for that one. Richard, that's a lot of truth right there, Richard. You better be careful. I saw a post the other day, and it says something to the effect of trailers are spoiling movies. And I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know. I guess it is a point of view. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. Again, I don't agree with this guy. Just a second ago, I was like, hey, good comment. No, woman, sorry. I don't know if I agree with that. I was entertained. If I can watch a movie and watch it all the way through and be like, hey, I'm actually kind of enjoying myself. I get wrapped up in the movie. To me, that's a good movie. I'm not expecting, fireworks and stuff like that, but I enjoyed it. I watched Snake Eyes last week and thought the same thing. There you go. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't terrible to me. It wasn't terrible. I enjoyed it. Let me see. Your wall books seem to change periodically. Is that for preservation, keeping them out of the light, or do you keep? I think there's a combination of things. So, there is really very little actual direct light here in the room. And if I had a room that had direct light, like my previous room, I just use UV blocker film on the window to prevent any of that from happening. But I changed the wall to make the videos and live streams a little more interesting, but it also allows me to celebrate my collection, right? Because I like to pull my collection out. I like to see the books that I have. If they're always in a bin, hidden from sight, then I don't necessarily enjoy them as much. So I think that there's a combination of reasons why I tend to put things up on the wall. So that hopefully that helps. All right, so let's transition. Let's transition to thumbnail. The thumbnail talks about Marvel taking a loss, and again, I'm looking at somebody here in the room that this may resonate with. I will say that I'm going to kind of sort of take this one with a grain of salt. And I say that because this site, it tends to lean a little bit more towards the gossip than actual news. I'm not the biggest fan of the site. I think it was Chris Bigger. I think it was Chris Bigger that actually sent this to me, and it seemed to be newsworthy enough. And I looked a little bit into it, and it seems to be true. But I want to put at least a couple of caveats around this thing. It appears that Marvel has lost the license to Conan. If you guys have been paying attention, Conan has actually been out there for like maybe the last 2 years or so. You've actually seen more Conan and like the Savage Avengers. I think I read a few Conan stories there. I want to say Conan may even have a solo book. Again, Matt Woods would know this stuff a little bit better than I. So Marvel has been doing some things with Conan, and over the last maybe 2 years or so, Ablaze has also been doing some things with Conan, even though they were not calling it Conan. And I never quite understood how they were doing what they were doing, but I think this article from Bleeding Cool gives us a little bit of insight into what is actually happening with this IP and how Ablaze is doing what they're doing and how Marvel has now lost this license. And so Conan licensed to move on from Marvel Comics. This came out just yesterday, and this was actually done, I think, by the guy that owns Bleeding Cool. He wrote this article, and I can tell you, as I looked into these details, as I read the article and as I looked into the details, it was like a game of who's on first. So many different companies involved, so many companies changing names, but then the CEO is exactly the same as the last CEO, bankruptcies, like crazy stuff happening. But it started out with, I guess, a message on the Facebook, which I don't really use all that much, but it says that, this post is about someone saying goodbye to a cover artist's work. As they're no longer going to be doing covers for Conan, as Marvel no longer owns the right to the character. It's actually a pretty dope cover, not necessarily my type of art, but I could see how this may resonate with Conan fans and with people that prefer that more artistic style right there that we see. But as you go through this article, it basically highlights here that Marvel published Conan books in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, which were all based upon Robert E. Howard stories. They actually licensed this from the estate of Robert E. Howard. And so at some point, Dark Horse was also involved. Dark Horse was publishing things from them. And then I guess with Marvel taking the license back in 2019. So I guess it's kind of moved around from Marvel to Dark Horse, now back to Marvel, at least since 2019. And you can see here that Marvel has been using Conan in the Savage Avengers to the point that I just made. And he's been popping up other places in the Marvel universe, at least in comics. Now, what they note here is that Conan the Barbarian has actually entered the public domain over in Europe. And that's because European laws are different from those here in the United States. Robert E. Howard died in 1936. I mean, that's how old Conan is, 1936. And there, a work of art or a creation enters the public domain after 70 years after the death of the author. So it is now in the public domain in Europe. And I think that is part of how Ablaze Studios or Ablaze Publications has been using Conan, because they're not calling him Conan, but it still looks and talks like a Conan-like character. It says in the US, however, there is a 95-year rule. So after the author's death, it's 95 years for anything published after 1922. And it says, but there's lots of disputes, copyright extensions, a lot of crazy stuff happening. They say muddy waters with lawsuits and court cases, all this kind of stuff playing out. And as a result, what appears to be happening, I'm reading into this, is that maybe a company acquired the IP from the family. That's what I think may have happened, or maybe they licensed it from the family. It's not quite clear what's actually happening. But it says, let me see if I can find it here. The trademark for the name Conan and the names of Robert E. Howard's other principal characters are maintained by Conan Properties International and are licensed to Cabinet Entertainment. Both of those organizations are owned by, or I guess controlled by, a CEO, Frederick. And again, muddy waters as you start to dig into those two companies and to him, because he's been the CEO owner of a few different companies that own a few different things, that it's muddy water. Trust me when I tell you. But what it appears to be happening again is that this company has basically acquired the rights, and they seem to be in a position to now publish Conan comic books themselves, which means that they're no longer going to allow Marvel to have that license. So it says Bleeding Cool understands that this company, and I guess the company is Cabinet Entertainment, now wishes to publish Conan comic books themselves, and so won't be renewing the Marvel license. And it goes on to say, I understand, however, that this will not affect Conan backstock of collections or the omnibuses, which Marvel will continue to publish, and that they could even use the Conan character in continuing the Savage Avengers books. It's not quite clear to me whether they will continue to do it, but it sounds like they will no longer have the license, and maybe this other company under the control of Frederick will actually do something with Conan comics. And what's interesting is that he is now located in LA. And when you read the Wikipedia page, it sounds like they may also be trying to do some movies and TV shows as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how some of this plays out. And I want to say Matt Woods, again, may know a lot more about this than I. I want to say Matt Woods made mention of a Netflix series involving Conan. It will be interesting to see what actually happens with that, whether that's going to move forward, whether it's going to be under the control of this Cabinet Entertainment. Just interesting stuff. We're going to have to see how it plays out. And one of the things is, because of what is happening in the comic book space, there appear to be a lot of people that are trying to get their hands on IP. They are trying to get something under their control that they can maybe turn into a movie or a TV show or a streaming show, just because there's so much excitement around these different characters. And Conan has been around for a very, very long time. So it's going to be interesting again to see how this plays out. It reminds me of something we spoke about a few years ago with Atlas Comics. Remember, Atlas Comics had a deal with Paramount, and we were talking about the fact that maybe we were going to see something come out of there. Nothing actually happened. Now we're hearing maybe, Conan is changing hands and moving around. We will see. We will see what actually happens. Action figure Disney plus Conan equals canceled. That just read. Let me see. New Red Sonja production moving forward, I believe, says Doug. Let me see, scrolling through. Yeah, they lost the license. So for Christopher and for anyone else that came in a little bit late, it appears that Marvel has basically lost a license. They have lost a license to Conan as IP. There is a company that appears to own the IP and is made a decision to maybe introduce Conan comics themselves and to basically not renew Marvel's license. Marvel has had the IP or the license to the IP since 2019. And it seems like over the last couple of years, they've been doing some stuff with it. And now it appears that they have lost it. And maybe this other company is actually going to make some magic happen with Conan. We will see how it plays out. It's not often that you hear about Marvel losing, right? Marvel just acquired, what was it? Alien and Predator. They acquired Alien and Predator, and they rolled out the new Alien series. And then the Predator was delayed. And I spoke about this a couple of weeks ago as a result of some court cases involving the folks that wrote the screenplay for the first two Predator movies. But I think that has been cleared up. And I think if it hasn't already come out, it should be coming out soon. The first Predator comic is actually going to drop here. And now, again, you don't hear Marvel losing all that often because Big Brother Disney, but they have, it appears, lost the license in this case. So scrolling through, Uh, Gordon says Conan roams everywhere. Let me see. Scrolling through, must not have been important for Feige. There you go. That could very well be the true. That could be very well true. When was the last time Conan? TMX, don't do that. Is Matt Wood still in here? Because he will run down and give you the full history of Conan. Don't get him excited. They're building up to Alien versus Predator. Bring it on. Bring it on. We need Conan versus Predator. Is that actually a matchup? Is that actually a matchup? Because Predator is dope. The only thing doper than Predator is Aliens. Aliens is fantastic. One of my favorite movies from my childhood. I occasionally will watch all of the Alien stuff from the beginning. What is that? Director and star left the current Red Sonja production. They're still trying to move forward with a new director, still have to cast the character, and it's unclear if they will need a new script. There you go. What was that comment here? Let me see. Scrolling through, that was according to one site. He says, I wonder if that Avenger No Road Home book with Conan is going to jump in price due to this. You know, that's one of the things that is unknown. It's unknown how this may affect Conan comics, generally speaking. I don't know that we see a whole lot of excitement with Conan in general. I think that there are some diehard Conan fans out there, but I don't know that we see value jumps associated with Conan, just again, generally speaking. So whether that book will change in price, only time will tell. I think folks have to pay attention and see what happens. So let me see. What is that? What is the situation with lines crossed in the matter of the shared ownership with some Marvel characters? Yeah, so there's a couple of things at play, right? So Marvel, when Marvel, I think, was going through some tough times, they actually licensed out Spider-Man. They licensed Spider-Man to Sony, and along with Spider-Man, they licensed out 900 characters. There's 900 characters that are in the Spider-Man universe that have been licensed out to Sony. And what's happened is, generally speaking, I think Marvel did this in order to survive. They gave it up. And over time, what's happened is you see the two companies working together. They're working together in order to put out content, and they have a little bit of give and take, right? You can use this character that you don't license. You can use them for your movie if you allow us to use a character or two in a movie that we have coming up. And that's why you get this interplay. They don't have to do it, but I think they are choosing to do it because it makes for a good story. They can also make some money off of it as a result. So I think it makes sense. For those that don't know, that is my brother right there that is asking the question. He is the guy that takes care of the podcast every single Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shout out to him. Predator is indeed. Yeah, so I covered this. Many months ago when DC acquired the film rights and then the comic book rights to Alien versus Predator. I did a couple of we did a little bit of coverage on this, and I showed those various covers for Predator. Now, what's interesting with a lot of those covers is that they have nothing to do with what's actually happening inside the book. They're just covers featuring Predator, for example, holding Iron Man's mask on Avenger Mansion or whatever, Avenger Mountain or whatever it is, Avenger Tower. There is no story. That cover is disconnected from the story that will actually be told. So I think what they were doing was trying to very quickly ramp up the awareness of the IP as being something that they now own by creating those covers. And with the court cases happening with the two screenwriters from the first two Predator movies, I think they put a lot of the releases of those covers on hold so as to work through those issues. Now that those issues appear to be clear, we're going to start seeing those covers come out the same way that I think they did for Aliens. They did it for Aliens, I do believe, and now they're going to do it for Predators. So it's going to be very interesting to see. Scrolling through the rest of the Disney likes to play big bank, take little. Oh, wait, brother, when you have the deep pockets, big bank does indeed take little bank. No, well done, Alex. I was not quite ready for that comment, but well done, brother. Well done. I think they should license Heavy Metal Magazine. I think they should license. I think Conan should be licensed to Heavy Metal Magazine. There you go. I totally butchered that comment initially. My bad on that one. Scrolling through. There you go. There you go. Thank you for keeping me honest, because sometimes I connect dots because I hear a lot, I see a lot, and then I say a lot, and sometimes I'm a little off, but sometimes I do connect the dots. So thank you. I definitely appreciate that. Yeah, there you go. There you go. There you go. I'm covered. I'm covered. And again, this is all stuff that we've talked about here on the channel. So again, for those folks that are coming in a little late, I want to give you guys again a little bit of an update here. What I'm talking about with Marvel losing, Marvel has basically lost the license, or so it appears, to Conan. There is a company that appears to have the license and maybe even the IP. They are choosing to not renew Marvel's license that Marvel has had off and on going back to the 70s and most recently from 2019 to the present day. They are choosing not to renew their license, and they're going to pull it back. This company may actually release comics on their own. They may be trying to work on a movie or a TV show. We do not know. But the article on Bleeding Cool highlights the fact that technically Marvel could continue using the Conan character, potentially the way that Ablaze has been using the character. It's not quite clear if those rules would apply in their specific situation. But Marvel has definitely lost the license, and we're going to see how some of this stuff is actually going to play out into the future with the Conan character. James, it is all good, brother. Let me see. Comics and tattoos, shout out to you. How you doing? Conan wasn't going to be Disney-fied, says Christopher. That's what's up. There was a comment. I've been waiting for somebody to talk about the Disneyfication of something, and it gets away from me. It gets away from me at the moment. My bad on that one. It gets away from me. All right, so we covered off on the Conan bit there. Also, one of the things we spoke about at the top of the show were these new page puncher toy comic combo that has been released from Todd McFarlane Toys and DC Direct. It is basically a 3-inch mini figure paired with a full-size comic being made available on Amazon for $9.99. I think that there are 4 of them in this initial run. I was tempted to buy them earlier today, even though they say it's for kids, but I was going to buy it and I decided to hold my water. I did not place an order. So let me see. Rob is making a comment here about Frank Frazetta. There you go. You cannot go wrong with some Frank Frazetta, no doubt about that. All the few Conan Key comics are now bricks. Omega, come on, you guys are hard. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the comics. Nothing is an option. Nothing may happen. The comics may continue to do what they have done, which is to be around. I want to say, in the back of my mind, I feel like there was a list somewhere recently that I saw that actually had some Conan books on it. And somebody out there may know a little bit better than I, but I want to say in the back of my mind, there was a Conan book or 2 that appeared on a list somewhere. But well done. Oh my goodness. You guys are tough. This is a tough room. No love for the Conan. No love. Well, let's see if there's some love for Blade. Let's see if there's a little bit of love for Blade. And maybe if there is love for Blade, there is an extension to Blade's daughter, who I believe her name is Brielle. Looking at my brother Rizal, her name is Brielle, if I remember correctly. Marvel just officially introduced Blade's daughter. This is an article that I found on comicbook.com. At long last, Blade's daughter is now part of the Marvel canon. And this article, I'm gonna give it to you out of order. There was a desire a few years ago to introduce a daughter of Blade, if I'm reading this article correctly, and her name was Fallon Gray. She was set to make her comic book debut, but they delayed it. They delayed it for some reason or another, and now they've introduced another daughter of Blade. They haven't done anything with the old one that's still out there, maybe somewhere. But they have now introduced a new daughter, and she was debuted in a free comic book day comic that came out. So it says over the weekend, Marvel released Free Comic Book Day 2022 Avengers X-Men issue number 1, a collection of short stories serving as a lead-in to the publisher's summer event. One of those short stories also introduces a character named Brielle, who happens to make a more family-friendly approach when it comes to vampires. I'll be completely honest, I don't know what that means. I don't know what a family-friendly approach to vampires could be. If there's a vampire, you stake him. It's super simple. Blade knows that. Super simple. If his daughter's not doing that, then she might need a talking to. Anyway, over the course of the short story titled Bloodline, Daughter of Blade, that's so original, Brielle defends her friend from a raging vampire gamer at an Atlanta-based video game tournament. There's a lot that's going on in that sentence. Bottom line, Blade has a daughter. Blade's daughter is now in Marvel Comics and maybe even coming to live action. Let me see if I can find that section here. I'm going to skip over all this stuff right here. It says here, casting for Marvel's Blade reboot has been ongoing, with one role apparently looking for a teenage girl. Putting 2 and 2 together, most think that Blade's daughter, Brielle, could already be set to make her live action appearance due to the increasing synergy between Marvel's comics and film companies. So there you go. If you can get your hands on the free, Free Comic Book Day Avengers X-Men 1, maybe you'll get yourself a really awesome key if they do indeed decide to introduce Brielle into the Blade reboot at some point whenever they announce that that movie's actually going to be coming out. So it should be free, right? Or do you have to pay for free? It should be free, right? It should be a free book. So don't catch the brick by paying for it. Hopefully it's out there. I wanted to flag that for you guys. Again, I dig Blade, and I think it's going to be cool when he actually comes into the MCU. Sounds like a kid-friendly vampire hunter. Sounds like a possible Disney Plus show going on with Miss Marvel and possibly Strange Academy. There has been a lot of speculation about that we may get some Strange Academy stuff. It'll be interesting to see. I think, again, playing to a younger audience is not necessarily a bad thing. My son watches a lot of the Disney Plus shows, even some DC shows, the cartoons, that is, featuring these younger characters. So I think it's a good thing. I remember talking with Tim a couple of years ago about Blade's daughter. He said she was still coming. I guess he meant this one, not the other. Yeah, I don't know. The other has been shelved. It appears that the other one has been shelved. Fallon Gray, I think, was the name. Who knows whether we'll actually ever see that version, but we now have Brielle. I don't know her last name, but we have Brielle. So, first of all, don't go to Chuck E. Cheese. If you can you even find a Chuck E. Cheese? I knew when I lived in California there was still one out there, but Chuck E. Cheese, if you go, certainly don't eat the pig pizza and take plenty of hand sanitizer because it's rough up in there. Blade movies were the best, at least the first couple. Strange Academy is indeed dope. Blade was the best Marvel. Blade was good. And it could stand alone on its own, no doubt about it. Scrolling through the comments here. Oh my goodness, you guys are hilarious. Key Collector has the book. What book is that? What book am I looking for, brother? What book am I looking for? What did I miss? What did I say out of my mouth? Because a lot comes out. What is that? Let me scroll up. Oh man, that's a good wife right there, brother. Let's pause, man. A burger and tater tots. Man, you're going to make me eat another burger because I've already had 2 today. Well done. Shout out to your wife, Kevin, for hooking you up so that you could stay seated and enjoy. There you go. Enjoy the show. Let me see. Okay, I think I'm all caught up on that one. All right, so there was one other thing that I'm going to talk about here. And I'll be honest with you. I'm going to sit this one out. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I am going to sit this one out despite the wall that is behind me. I do not think that I'm going to be participating in this next thing that we are going to talk about because again, you can't do everything and you have to pick and choose what you support. So Amazing Fantasy 1000. Anybody that reads Spider-Man probably knows that we are not near 1000. Okay. So they are about to do what they did before with Marvel Comics 1000, Piggy, which is to ride the coattails of what was it, Superman 1000 and Batman 1000. They're coming out with Amazing Fantasy 1000, and this thing highlights the fact that like Neil Gaiman and a bunch of other incredibly talented creators are going to come on board to do something really special for Spider-Man 1000, basically to celebrate the 60th anniversary of Spider-Man. And yeah, I think it's cool, but it would be really awesome if it were actually the official 1000. If it was actually, Amazing Spider-Man 1000, I think that would be cool. This is essentially something that they're making up. They're making it up just like Marvel Comics, just like Marvel Comics 1000 was essentially made up. So I'm guessing this thing is going to come out with like 100,000 covers, all ranging in price, probably an oversized kind of thing that they're going to do. Kind of again what they did with Marvel Comics 1000. They gave a couple of creative teams at like a page or so that they worked on for the 80 pages. Again, this is probably something that I will not be participating in. So it says Marvel Comics has enlisted a slew of acclaimed comic talent for a giant size one shot. According to the press release from the publisher, Amazing Fantasy 1000 will feature a collection of stories that explores the past and future of Amazing Spider-Man storytelling and tales that have a profound impact on Spider-Man mythos and showcase why Spider-Man is one of the most beloved heroes in history. Yeah, no, I'm going to sit this one out. I just won't. I just won't do it. I just won't do it. So, but again, it was news, so I wanted to put it out there for you guys. Amazing 1000 for like $10. Yeah, man. Hopefully they at least do a square bound something proper so that you don't have those bindery tears and all that other kind of stuff. 60 times 12, 720. Matt Woods is doing some math over there. Wonder if comics are ever gonna be good again. Oh no, don't say that, Jordan. Comics are definitely good, brother. This is a fine time to read comics. Trust me when I tell you, there are some really good comics out there right now that are being published on a regular and ongoing basis that are really great. And the great thing maybe is that they are not just coming from Marvel and DC. They're coming from Image. They're coming from Boom. They're coming from other publishers. Swoldier Publishing is about to put out a really dope comic come July that is just incredible stuff. I think that comics are great. I really do. I actually read, this is not a great comic. It's an okay comic, Grimm. I read Grimm the other day, and it's about the Grim Reaper, but it's a different take, different spin. I don't want to ruin it for anybody in case you haven't read it. But Grim is out, and people are pretty excited about that. They think that it has a lot of potential, like Something is Killing the Children, which is another amazing read if you haven't read that one. I don't know if Grim is to that caliber, but it's not bad. It's not a bad one. So I say check it out. Pretty sure we talked about the same thing last fall. Oh man, what did we talk about? 1000? Are we talking about 1000? Oh, it is coming. It is coming. Would Sony, what is that? Would Sony ever go? I think you're asking if they would ever let it go. I don't know what the contract is. I don't know what the contract happens to be. for them. Yeah. So are there some people that's a good clarification, Jordan, and I definitely appreciate that. I would say again to the point that I was just making, there's a lot of really great comics that are coming out from non-big two, and I think it's part of what happens. I think it's just part of what happens. I have been in and out of comics, and as I've been in and out of comics, I can tell you that comics have been good and bad during that time. You know what I'm saying? I think it's an ebb and a flow. And I think it's really tough for something to be good just on a regular and ongoing basis. I think it's tough. I think there's a little bit of ebb and flow, and potentially Marvel and DC will get its act together and start producing some really great content, similar to maybe what's coming from some of the independents. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Comics are not always good, right? Remember, DC was once king of the hill. DC was once the publisher that everyone wanted to be like, and that's changed. Marvel came on board, then Marvel got not so good, and DC kind of came up, and now it's a little bit of a flow. So I'm pretty sure that there's a couple of people in here that can probably throw out some really awesome comics coming out from Marvel and DC that you may want to check out. There you go. But is that Image? Is that Image? Who does Monstrous? I'm not sure who does that one. I've heard a lot about it, but I've never actually checked that one out. Scrolling through some of the comments here, I think I am all caught up. Okay, cool. So let me give you guys again a little bit of a recap of some of the content that's going to be coming out from the channel over the course of this week. And I don't know. I think I'm going to release these. There's a video I'm editing right now that I think is actually pretty good that I would like to switch out. But for now, this week we are going to be talking about the value gap that may or may not exist between CBCS and CGC. We're going to talk about that. Maybe there's a gap, maybe there's not. You got to watch the video to find out. Shout out to Matt Woods. I'm going to count down 10 resources that I think every collector needs to know about. And I filmed this video maybe a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. I think it's a good video. That will be coming out. 10 resources that every collector needs. I'm going to be showing you guys a full run that I found in the 100K collection. I filmed this video probably a month and a half ago. The wall will look completely different by the time you guys, when you watch this video and you see this live stream. But it's a full run that I found in the 100K collection. I started reading this book. I think it's from the 80s, and it was not a bad read from a legendary creator. I encourage you to check it out. On Wednesday, we're going to do Comics Today, and we're going to be doing the short boxed giveaway. There's a video that comes out every single month from our friends over at Shortbox here on the channel. In that video, all you have to do is to watch the video, leave a substantive comment behind on that video, and you're in the running for a $100 credit from my friends over at Shortbox. There is a link in the description of the video that I think was released on May 2nd. On May 2nd, the video was about costly mistakes that collectors make. Watch that video, leave a substantive comment behind, get in the running for a $100 credit from my friends over at Shortbox. In addition to those videos and that pre-recorded video in the live stream, we're going to be releasing the podcast on Monday at 10 a.m. I don't know if my brother is still in here, but shout out to him because we're going to make that magic happen. So let me see. Scrolling through. It is not Captain Carrot. What I'll tell you, brother, is that I probably could put together a full run of Captain Carrot. There are a lot of full runs in this 100K collection. We're talking Star Wars, Spawn, G.I. Joe, you name it. This Spider-Man from the 90s, the Todd McFarlane, X-Men from the 90s, Jim Lee, you name it, there is potentially a full run of it in the 100K collection. It's just a question of, is it all together in one bin, or do you have to hunt for it across multiple bins? Either way, it is all fun. All right, with that said, we're going to wrap this thing up. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me just a little bit. If you need to reach out to me, feel free to do so on Instagram at Regie Collects. Take care.